and make sure the title's optimized for search. Not too long, just as long as it needs to be. You'll sell postcards. So just gotta have a good price to sell and cards that people want. Welcome to SM Postcards. For anybody that's new to this, this is about reselling postcards. When I do these weekly videos, they're a little longer, but there's 4 sections to them and sometimes 5. And you'll see that down at the bottom. And you can jump around all you want on the what's sold, the special topic, etc. But what I usually go through is a what's sold. I do a special postcard, review of that, some history, pricing, sell-through rate. Then I take one of the polls or data after that. And today I have show and tell. That's a new segment that I've been starting to put in where I've asked viewers to send me things. Did they have a great sale of a postcard? Rub it in our faces and show you what's sold. Do you have a setup that's pretty unique you're very proud of? Have you bought a lot of cards and stuff like that? So I've gotten a few things in, and this I think is the second show and tell I've done. So we got 3 things to go through with the show and tell today. And then at the end I always do viewer comments that I get into YouTube, email, eBay, or whatever, and we talk about those. And it's a pretty good conversation. So let's go ahead and get into what's sold section. And this is where I go through the cards. Not really the prices as much as the variety of cards people are buying. I have over 47,000 listings. Variety of everything. Snakes, birds, Christmas, whatever. Boats. You'll see what people are buying. So they got a good pick on the variety. First one that's sold is the Fountain Square Care Tower, Cincinnati, Ohio. Just a linen card. It's posted 1946, and that's sold for the $5. Next one sold for $16.55. So I probably threw an offer on it out there to someone, but this is from that 8 albums I bought a year or so ago. I've gotten my money back 2-3 times over on these cards, and I've only sold 25% of them. But if you watch those videos, I go through each of the cards, comp them, and I work through each album and show you what I listed them for and stuff. But I'm doing fine with that. I got my money back for all that. But this is the Otis Elevated Railway, Catskill Mountains. Always look at Catskill. $16.55. This one sold for. That's one of those railways that they took up there. It's an undivided back, not posted, but it's a nice looking card. So that'll go out. Then the next one sold for $5.65, and this is Tomb Where Lies Buried the Heart of Sir George Somers, Bermuda. So this is one of the Bermuda cards. It's a vertical card. So there's a heart in there, George. Divided back, $5.65. I priced up all the Bermudas by $1 because I had to pay shipping. I bought those from a Mary Martin auction. There was a whole lot of them, and I like Caribbean, but I had to pay the shipping, so I got to get the money back. I got more into those than I do if I buy them at an auction or local and stuff. Next one is Cypress Trees, the Canadian goose capital of the world, Horseshoe Lake, Alexander County, near Cairo, Illinois. If you look at Illinois and you go all the way to the bottom, that's where Cairo is. That's about 4.5-5 hours from me, straight south down Illinois. And this is Cypress Trees, Cairo, Illinois, $4 to $5. This is the ship. This is my last one of these, the U.S. Little Rock CLG4. It's a Continental card, publisher card, one that the club bought. So I'm sold out of those cards. Next one, this sold for $15.65. It's the Coal Breaker and Yards, Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Coal Breaker and Yards. Divided back. This came from that last buy I did, the haul from just a friend of my wife's on there. If you watch that video, I go through what that collection was and stuff, and this is one of them that was pretty good on there. So $15.65. I got my money back within a week of listing things on an album for that buy, but the rest of the cards are kind of average. That was one of the good ones. Next one is a boat, USS Albany. This is from Larry. He's been buying, making a collection. He's bought a lot of ships from me, $4 to $5. This is Maryland Monument, Antietam, Maryland. It's a white border card, Maryland Monument, $4 to $5. This one was in one of my earlier boxes. I got 111 boxes of postcards in my inventory, which is over 100,000 cards over in the area. This is just ocean swells on the ocean, Block Island, Rhode Island. It's the ocean. And this was posted in 1940s, divided back card. So, nope, this is a linen card. $4 to $5, just ocean. Next one sold for $5.65. The Oregon Mountains, Las Cruces, New Mexico. Divided back. Looks like a hand-painted one. $4 to $5, just mountains. And the last one is Grand Hotel Monte Mortis. Looks like an international card. Does it say where it's from? No, Jardin. It's an international card, and that's sold $4 to $5. Somebody knows of that hotel. So total for overnight, I had 11 cards sold worth $84.04. And if you take $84.04 and divide it by 11, it gives me a $7.64 sell-through rate, or average sale price. We'll get into sell-through rate in a minute. Average sale price of $7.64. Again, my goals for the year is to sell 14 or more cards a day. Basically, 14 is my bottom. I can go up. I can't complain if they buy more. I want to do $70 a day, and I did 84 today. I was down 3 cards on the day, but my dollars were up, and my average sale price is $7.64, so that's going up. A lot of people ask me, well, $70 doesn't seem like much. That equals about $25,500 a year. It puts about $1,000 or so dollars in my pocket a month, clear and free, after taxes and everything. I have a very low overhead. I do pay quarterly taxes. I do have insurance on my stuff. And I have enough inventory, so I buy my cards right, so I price them right, and I don't do a lot of promoted. I don't do best offer, all that stuff. My best price is out there, so I don't discount a lot. But that's all I want right now. Being retired, doing other things, $70 a day. I'm in between part-time and full-time with postcards. That's all I'm looking to do. And also, a lot of people say, well, you need more than that every month. Not really, because I'm not using the money I make this month, really. I'm using money I made 6-8 months ago to pay my bills this month, because I have accounts with money in there. If I close my store for a whole month, 2 months, 3 months, rest of the year, I'll be fine. I have money put away to pay all my expenses and more. But it's taken me a while to get there. So I'm not worried about if I have a slow day. I just know I don't have to pack a lot. And I'm not jumping and making changes. I have to have a trend. I have to have 3 to 6 months before I make any major changes in my store. Just because I didn't sell more than 1-2 cards in a day doesn't mean I'm not going to make all these changes. I have to see a trend. That's just the way I work. But that's what's sold. You'll see those in the beginning of every video. They go pretty quick. I usually have 10 to 15 cards. Sometimes a little more, a little less. Never had any 0 days this year. I always sold the postcard every day. But now we're going to get into a section called Special Topic. And it's always about a certain type of postcard. And I have these laid out, and you'll see on the screen here is all the thumbnails that I've done. I have over 200 videos on the channel of different postcards, novelty ones, and stuff like this. This one is on trucks. Trucks on postcards. You know, automobile trucks, cars, trucks. You'll see on the thumbnail. I'm going to give you a little bit of foundation. I'll give you some history about the trucks and where they came from and what they talk about. And I got a couple facts usually about trucks. And then we'll get into the sell-through rate and the pricing. Actually look at some comps and see what's out there and some higher priced ones. And then after that we'll get into the poll and show and tell and viewer comments. But while I set the foundation for you on trucks, I'm going to show you some postcards I found that are for sale out there as a slideshow as I go through. Trucks have a long and fascinating history that goes back many years. In the early days, trucks were much simpler compared to the ones we see today. The first trucks were like horse carriages with engines attached to them. They had wooden or metal bodies and were used to transport goods over distances. As time went on, trucks became more advanced. In the early 1900s, companies started building trucks with more powerful engines and stronger frames, which allowed them to carry heavier loads. These trucks were mainly used for industrial purposes like delivering goods to factories or carrying materials to construction sites. Over the years, trucks continued to evolve, with new features and designs being introduced. Today, trucks come in all shapes and sizes, from small pickup trucks to massive semi-trucks that can haul goods across country. They play a vital role in our economy, helping to transport goods and materials to where they are needed. One significant milestone in the history of trucks was the invention of the assembly line by Henry Ford. Ford's innovation revolutionized the production of trucks and made them more affordable for people to buy. Before the assembly line, trucks were mainly hand-built, which made them expensive and limited their availability. With the assembly line, trucks can be mass-produced, making them more accessible to the public. This development not only changed the truck industry, but also had a broader impact on manufacturing as a whole. As technology advanced, trucks started to become more efficient and environmentally friendly. Today we have electric trucks that produce fewer emissions and are more sustainable. The history of trucks is a story of innovation, from humble beginnings to powerful vehicles we see on the roads today. Truck postcards are a delightful and unique way to send greetings to friends and loved ones. These postcards feature vibrant, eye-catching images of trucks in various settings, from scenic landscapes to bustling city streets. Whether it's a vintage truck, a shiny modern rig, or a big rig hauling goods, the truck-themed postcards capture the spirit of adventure and transportation. They are perfect for truck enthusiasts or anyone who appreciates the charm and power of these vehicles. Truck postcards not only serve as a cheerful reminder of the sender's thoughts, and also showcase the beauty and diversity of trucks in a fun and creative way. So whether you're traveling on the open road or dreaming of hitting the highway, truck postcards are a delightful choice to share your love for these mighty machines. Trucks have some truly bizarre purposes. Here's where the little facts come in. For instance, in Japan, there's a truck called the mosquito truck. Mosquito truck, you know, the bug that sucks your blood. Mosquito truck that drives around neighborhoods to attract mosquitoes. This unusual vehicle emits sound frequencies that imitate the mating calls of female mosquitoes, luring the male mosquitoes into the truck's trap. It's a creative and environmental friendly way to control mosquito population without harmful chemicals. Ever wonder how Santa Claus sends presents to remote areas? Well, in certain areas of Finland, Santa relies on Christmas trucks to spread the holiday cheer. These specially decorated trucks, adorned with festive lights and decorations, travel to remote villages and towns, bringing gifts and joy to children who may be difficult to reach by sleigh. It's an unusual, magical way to ensure that every child gets a visit from Santa during the holiday season. So that sets the foundation on trucks a little bit. It gives the history of the trucks, talks a little bit about some facts and the postcards. But do they sell? I look at a couple different things in these videos. One is, how are the cards themselves moving through eBay, and that's called sell-through rate. Sold divided by listed times 100 gives you a percent. I round up or down. And you look at this little gauge right here. This is the ranges that I have in my head. I put them just on paper. The red, 0 to 3, I don't deal with. I get them in lots, and some I put them in the bucket and they get lotted up. 4 to 7 is just your average cards that are going to sit there. They're going to sell, but it takes a while. 8 to 10 is a little bit better. They'll sell a little faster. And then your 11 and higher are the ones that I will pick up, because I know they move through the system better. You have a better chance of the green cards moving before the red cards. Now, this doesn't guarantee that you'll you'll never sell a red card. You probably will, but your chances are better in the green. And I'm not really down to the scientific last card. I just want to get it in a range, so when I'm looking through a white box of postcards, and if I see it full of average cards, I'm paying the average price. If I see it full of very high cards, I might go a little higher to make sure I secure the deal. And if there's a lot of red cards in there, a lot of cards with low sell-through rate, I might pass up altogether, or not, or very, very low price for them. Nickel a card, penny a card, something like that. That's how it helps me, and I thought I would share. So it's not scientific. You can get into semantics of this and get in there and stuff. This is just a little gauge to help you. You got to have something. And just because this card looks cool doesn't mean it sells. You got to have some data behind it to say, yeah, that card, which is Skyline at Night, Baltimore, Maryland, to me, that's an average card. The night scene might bump it up a little bit, but it's an average card, because I know Baltimore's are average cards. So I wouldn't pay a lot for that card to resell it. But I went out there and I put postcard trucks, and it worked. I got rid of a few other things, hats and stuff like that I can do in there. A few things might have squeaked through, but that's why I do a range. 896 sold, 7,100 listed with the trucks in the title, trucks on postcards. Times 100 gives you 13%. And if you look at the chart, that's in the very high. So if you're passing up truck postcards, there might be a chance that you're missing out on a few sales. I always pick up those cars and stuff like that, and I have them in the boxes, and I sell a few every month or every week, stuff like that. Or somebody will come in and just buy 10 of them. That's a good thing about having a lot of one type of card too. But let's bump it up against some other transportation things. Trucks are at 13%. Postcard motorcycle is at 10%. Automobiles are at 7%, and vans are at 7%. So everything else is pretty average. They're in the average part. Motorcycles are on the higher end of the average, almost very high. But the other two are average, but trucks are above them all. So if you had to pick between picking up a box of trucks or picking up a box of cars, I would pick up the trucks. And that's how sell-through rate works with me. Makes me think. Now what about the pricing? So I went out there and I grabbed some, I call them extreme pricing, a little bit higher than normal. These are ones that sell themselves. You really don't have to push them, you just got to price them right and put the title and so people can find them in search. They sell themselves, but I wanted to let you know there's some good priced postcards out here. This one, rare. Denver, Colorado street cleaner truck. A street cleaner truck. 1910 RPPC's photo postcard. $125, $4 shipping. A street cleaner truck. And you're going to see here these unique trucks do better than some of the other trucks. So that's a street cleaner truck. Keep that in mind. Then you get into the next one here. This is like a NASCAR truck. And it's got a girl here. It's a truck, Victoria's Secret truck, racing truck. And it's signed, I believe, with this person. That sold for $77. Victoria's Secret truck postcard. Look for this card. If you got this card, it's worth it. But then you go down and I found a lot of 5 of these cards sold for $50. So these things are selling like $10, $15 a piece. They got $77 for that. So you never can guess what these are going for. But I found these too. It's a big range there from $50 to $80, $30 range. But a Victoria's Secret truck, that's locked in my mind. So if I see the Victoria's Secret, I'm going to double check that truck. And that's what this does for me by doing these videos. As I never knew that. I would have passed that up as an average NASCAR thing, but Victoria's Secret truck. Then you got a Nebraska Friend Schaefer Oil Company Deep Rock truck. Deep Rock truck. An RPPC from 1920, real photo postcard. Neat little truck, guy standing by it, $52. So some of these can be pretty good. You never know. You just got to look and see. And the more you do it, the better you get at this. the more you see cards. Like I know this is an average card. It's a 19, it'll go faster than the other ones. It's an average card. I know this is an average card. I know this is an average card. Just by looking at, I've seen them before. I know what they're going to do. You don't have to spend all the time comping, but on those other cards, yes, I would spend the time, and they go in a special folder, and I sit down and do the research. When I get 10 or 12 in there, then I go and put them up. But when you look at cards, most of the cards that we see are the average. When you're looking for average cards, the ones in the green, the other ones are going to show up. You're going to become more aware. So I look for average ones, and those real photo postcards and stuff like that, they just kind of pop up. I don't actually look for, divided back to Chrome is what I look for. Those other ones just kind of come in boxes or they pop up. I see them. As you have no choice, you're going to see them. But these are the average cards here that you're going to see every day that sell. This is what pays the bills. Those other ones are nice, but they don't come as often as these. So the first one is an advertising postcard. Advertising is always good. San Antonio Brown Express Trunking Company. So they got the name of the company, got a nice picture of the car, someone knows it, and they got $30 for it. Chrome card. And here's another specialty truck, garbage truck. So you want to pick out these mosquito trucks, the rock trucks, the garbage trucks, the street cleaner trucks. I noticed those do a little bit better than your average semis or something, unless it's got the company like the other one. $30 for a garbage truck. And then you got a, looks like a linen here, Arthur Brown Incorporated Heating Oil. So this is a heating oil company. It's got advertising and everything. They got $27 for. So if the trucks have the names on them, or you can figure out what they are, I think it'll do better. But all of these, I would say, in a $25 to $30 range is what they're doing. Not bad. Look for those specialty trucks. Then you get into the low ones. And we just talked about advertising, and they got $25, $30. This one here is National Van Lines Distance Moving Wagon with cactuses. Nice looking card. Sold it for 99 cents. It was in an auction, so only got one bid. Auctions are dead, guys. You don't start an auction at 99 cents. Start it with what you want. I don't do them that often. People want them. You'll get more money if you don't do it. But that's a nice looking card. They only got $1 for it. Next one is Vintage Roadside Postcard, Indiana, Fort Wayne. Fort Myers Truck Stop. Gas. This is a truck stop. They could have got more for that. Not a great card, the way it looks, but if you look up close, it's a truck stop. Someone knows that. Someone's been on the road. Might get something more for that one. And cotton loaded on a truck. Marfa, Texas. I'll leave that one up to you. But $1.59, I'll let you decide. I don't put a lot of these low ones in my equation or the real high ones. I look for the average, and the other ones come out as I see them. But trucks aren't bad. I have a new energy about picking up truck postcards. I pick up cards a lot. I don't see a lot of truck postcards. So I'm going to keep my eyes open and see if I find it, and find that Victoria's Secret NASCAR truck thing, that stock car or whatever it is, and specialty trucks. So if I see a box with a whole bunch of garbage trucks in it, yeah, they're coming home with me. That's trucks. Who knew? Now we're going to go through the poll real quick. This was a pretty simple poll. I've been hitting on scanners a lot. It's just one of the tools, along with the thermal printers with the eBay standard envelope, that's very important to a business. If you decided, after putting up 1,000 cards, like I recommend all the time, you decided this is what you want to do, and you like doing postcards, and you're learning, and you're selling, and you're making some money, or you're just collecting, duplex scanner and thermal printer are important to your business. It will save you so much time. They will pay for themselves in time in no time. So the poll I sent out, do you use duplex scanner for your postcard photos? And don't get caught up with technical terms. Duplex just means it scans both sides at the same time. It's not like a flatbed where you got to flip it over. If you're using a flatbed, you need to move up with the technology and get a duplex scanner. You're going to save so much time. Flatbed scanners are just cumbersome. They're older. They're good for some documents. I have one I use for a business document that won't fit through the scanner or something. But the duplexes are so fast. You can scan the new 580W. I did a video on that. I can put 40 postcards in there and it's scanned in 20 seconds. Front and back to a folder on my computer. Where with a flatbed, you'd still be doing that after 20 minutes. So that's why I don't like flatbed scanners. Some people are going to hold their own. That's the way they've always done it, and that's it. They're stuck with technology. Be humble. That's one of the things in business. You have to be humble and take the constructive criticism and change sometimes. It will save you time. Time is something you'll never get back. But do you use a duplex scanner for your postcard photos? 73% of the people said yes. And remember, most of the people that watched the channel or did the poll, they were part-timers. So they built it up to where they picked up a duplex scanner. And 26% no. I'd like to know why. Why you wouldn't do that. You can pick up these 400 ES400 Epson scanners for less than $100 sometimes on eBay to get started with. Or if you want to get a new one and use it for photos of your family or whatever. Now remember, most of the 400 and the 580W are not photo scanners, they're document scanners. There's a 680 series that Epson makes that does photos. So you kind of got to work with that. And I put settings out there on the Ko-Fi store. And we'll get to that in a second here. But I got some comments. Jim Lloyd pretty well sums it up. Duplex scanner is essential for success in selling postcards. I couldn't say it any better, Jim. That and a thermal printer are two of the major things. Thanks, Jim. Then Ryan, Vintage Postcards. If you don't have a duplex scanner, I'm not sure how you could have long-term success as a postcard seller. He loves his Epson ES400. Yes, you don't need anything magnificent. I scan these things at 300, 400 DPI. You don't need fancy on there. And it's just, I can't talk about it enough, I think. Thanks, Ryan. And then Karen Henderson, longtime viewer of the channel. If I had to go back taking pictures, I would have to rethink my whole business model. Yeah, and get a back brace. I did it one time years ago, and I thought my back was going to kill me. The Epson and Rollo are must-haves for me, and it should be a must-have for everybody. They should work toward that as their next purchase next year. Got Christmas coming up. Ask them. My wife bought me the Rollo years ago, the kids and everybody, for Christmas, because I wanted a thermal printer when I first started years ago. And she picked out the best one, the Rollo, and I still have it. I don't know, 8 years old or whatever. Never have a problem with it. But when you get an Epson scanner, a lot of people send me messages saying my real photo postcards don't work, they don't scan right, and stuff like that. So I went out there and I did in the Ko-Fi store, and that's where I have a lot of Postcard Supplies and stuff like that. Price for resellers, as low as I can go. I'm not looking to make a ton of money in Ko-Fi. This is for a place for sellers that go pick up stuff. You can get free stuff like these. This is 3 documents, PDF documents of my current settings on the 580W, the newest document scanner from Epson. The little longer one I use for small stuff, the 60W, and then the 400. A lot of people use the Epson 400 in postcard world. The settings between the 400 and 580W are basically the same. They just changed Wi-Fi and LCD screen and stuff like that. But the documents are free out there. They're out on Ko-Fi. You can download them for nothing. It'll say pay what you want, just put 0 there. No limitations. You can download them as much as possible. And if anybody's got anything better than what I have in there, let me know and I'll test it and I can change the document if it works better than what I have. But these are the optimized settings that I use that I don't have any problems with. So go to Ko-Fi. There's a lot of things for free prices. If you want more than what I have there, just send me a message. We can always work out a deal, a bulk deal, and stuff like that. Shipping's a little different on Ko-Fi. It doesn't have all the rules, so I will refund excessive shipping. Usually over $2, I refund it and stuff like that. But if you become a member in Ko-Fi at one of the levels, whiteboard or divided back level, it's like $3 a month or $4 a month, you get 40% off of anything in the store all the time. So if you buy sleeves and they're regularly priced at $3.75, a pack of sleeves is only going to cost you $2.25 plus shipping. I have people buy 10, 15 packs of sleeves that are members, and they make a killing on them. And that's what that store I put together for. And I have a ton of inventory. I put a lot of capital into it this year to build up what's in there. There's a lot of stuff in there, and I'll add more as I go along. But check it out. But that's the poll. Get a scanner. Get rid of that flatbed. I'll probably get dinged on saying that, but it's Duplex is the way to go. But that's the poll. It comes out every Saturday morning. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell notification, and I think right over here you can click on it. Real easy. Subscribing is free. Helps the channel out greatly because it opens it up a lot of things and it gets it out to more people. That's the poll. Now we're going to get into show and tell. I was going to call this viewer corner, but I like show and tell. It's like going to school and you're bringing stuff. So I've asked people over time to send me different things, and people have stepped up and sent me some stuff. And I got 3 things here I'm going to go through. But I want to show what you guys got. Not just what you don't want to see me all the time. I want to see what you're selling, what your setup is. Did you find a box that's better than any other box in the world? Or did you find a scanner that's even better than the Epsons? Or do you use a printer or this? Or where did you get your labels? Just any deals out there, stuff like that. Or postcards that you've sold. If you sold a $2,500 Halloween card and you want to share and let us know how well you did. Stuff like that. Or you found a unique card. Just send it to contact@SMPostcards.com and I'll put it out there. And I will, when I put it in the video storyboard, I will send you a message when that piece will be, what video it will be put in. Like this one will be a November 27th trucks video or something like that, and you'll get that so you know when to look for it. But I got 3 here today. The first one is I need some help. And Boldy Grows Pickers Chris sent me this, and I think it's a one-off paper. I don't think it's anything special because I see a key thing here. But he sent this to me and he said, here's an interesting pair I have never seen before. They are both continental size, 6x4. However, they are linen textured. Copyright, circa 1974. Ever hear or see something like this before? I assume all linens were standard. Now the definition of linens is the waffle look of linen and the texture that they use screens. And if you look at these cards, they do have some lines in them, but it doesn't have the waffle texture. So I don't think it's a true linen. Does anybody out there run into this when they get a certain type of paper like this? What's this called? Maybe Neil knows. But I just said I think it's a one-off paper because the date on here, circa 1974, looks like a reprint of a photo or something like that. So if anybody can help us out with that, but he's got these 2 neat-looking cards I thought I would share, and he asked me the questions, and I'm not an expert in paper and stuff like that, and I would just make an assumption real quick that it's just a one-off paper because of the date he said it was, 74, because linens are back. If I look at my little thing here, this is free in the Ko-Fi store too, you can download. Linens are 1930 to 1945, so that's what hit on me real quick. So let us know in the comments. Thanks, Chris. Boldy Grow Pickers. Then I got another one from, he sold a peanut guy. Look at this postcard. He said, here's the peanut vendor in the peanut suit postcard that sold for $19.99 for $20. And I bet you that was priced to stay under eBay standard envelope, $19.99. While I was watching your video today. Look at that postcard. There's peanuts on the side in the stand. And this guy's dressed in a peanut suit with a basket, and he's got a big beard. Of course that's going to sell for $20. I've never seen that card. I thought it was pretty cool. Thanks, Boldy. And then Trevor was proud of his buy. He got a haul of postcards. He said, hey Mark, figured I'd show you a new lot of cards I just purchased, around 3,000 of them, including some boxes of used sleeves too. Already found a Wiki Watchy mermaid card, and hopefully we'll find some more. So right there, you got $10, $12 already coming off your price. But here's the pictures of it. He got on the table, and I kind of zoomed in, and I saw that, and I said, everything I see on the table is sellable that I see that you have there. So that was a pretty good buy. Some average cards, but it might be a gem or so in there, like the Wiki Mermaid and stuff. And then that's the box that came in the sleeves. But this is the type of stuff I would like people to send me when they got the hauls. And then we went back and forth a little bit. He said he got these cards off of eBay for $300. So 10 cents a card. Not bad price with that stuff. And eBay, you just got to be very careful because they're going to be picked through a lot from the other sellers, but this might have been one that's not that he found, and he made out on it. Just started in April and have about 10,000 postcards listed. That is really good, Trevor. 10,000 postcards listed and started in April. Usually 10,000 is like an average for a year of someone doing it. So you're really doing a good job. Postcards listed in about 19,000 items in his store. So he sells more than just postcards. 7,000 are Pokemon cards. So I know where I'm sending Pokemon cards if I ever get any that come. Usually I buy a big lot and I'll find a box of Pokemon cards. I don't do Pokemon, the Magic the Gathering game, sports cards. I don't do that. I give them away to other resellers. I figure I move it forward. I got the postcards I wanted, and I find those things. I just send them on. So Trevor's on my mind for Pokemon. I don't come across them too often, but I don't have. You're either in Pokemon, the Magic, or in sports cards, or you're not, is what I was told years ago. There's just so much about them, just like postcards. The rest are miscellaneous items that he's seen. So he's got a nice haul here, 10 cents a card, no way to lose on there, and he's well on his way of having a nice postcard store and consistent sales. Good job, Trevor. Thanks for sending it in. Remember, send it to contact@SMPostcards.com, and we'll go back and forth. I'll make sure it's okay to put up on the video, and we'll do that. That's show and tell. Now the last part of the videos are called viewer comments. Viewer comments come in anywhere, eBay, YouTube, email, and stuff like that. I think most of these came in through YouTube. I usually do 3 or 4, and they're relevant to postcard selling or something on eBay. But Jason Killings came in on the first one. Thank you very much for your eBay standard envelope analysis every month. Do you ever find any that show the last scan saying out for delivery, but not shown as delivered? I've had a few of those and was wondering how that can be. So every month I do a video, and it'll look like this in the bottom. So if you're subscribed, you'll get notified when I put this out. I usually put it out the first week of the next month, and I just track 100 random mailings I did out of my postcard store for the month before, and I look at 4 scans: the origin, destination, out for delivery, and delivered. And then I give you a total and we talk about it. So that's what he's talking about. And it kind of gives you a level set saying, hey, I'm having problems with eBay standard envelope. Is Mark having a problem? No. You can see my trend. That I put a graph up also about trend. But he's asking a specific question. Show this last scan saying out for delivery and not show delivery. Have I ever seen that? Sure. There's 2 pieces to this. One is you send it into the post office and their machine scan it, and they send it to eBay, and then eBay takes and puts it in their system and displays to us. Where's the breakdown? To me, if I had to point the finger, I would point it at eBay, not displaying the information, not taking the information received from the post office and displaying to us. They've had to true up things in the past and stuff like that. So I'm tending more that way, but also the post office. How can these different... So my thinking is, how can multiple sorting centers have the same problem and some don't? I don't think that can happen that often. It's too much of inconsistency in there, but we'll probably never know. I know eBay is working on some stuff, doing some tests to see where some of the breakdown is, but I think it's on their side more than it is on the post office at the moment. But that could change every month. But yes, it's going to happen. I don't watch tracking. The only time I will check tracking, if it's a higher price thing, if it was a problem buyer, which I don't have that often, or someone says something. Otherwise, they pay, I ship, If they don't say anything about it, I don't go in there and check tracking. So I don't really care if it goes there. Now remember, if the customer says they did not receive the postcard and you use eBay standard envelope, have them open a case. Once they get the case open, upload your tracking and refund them. And then in 30 days and before 90 days, watch this video and put a claim in. You can get your money back. Never worry about eBay standard envelope. And there does take some time with the conversation with the buyer and stuff, but you can refund them once they open a case, because the claim, they're going to ask you to send a message where the customer said they didn't receive it. By opening a case, it keeps everything in there, and you can cut and paste that and send that to them. So eBay standard envelope has insurance, so don't worry about, I don't worry about it. Last year I got about $70 back on refund, the things I refund. And this month time of recording this, I got a couple more I got to do from my August fiasco. But yeah, you'll see that. But I've been tracking it for ever since a year and a half, 2 years now, and I see inconsistencies all the time. And you can go back and look at those videos and see that. But thanks, Jason, and keep us in tune if you ever have any problems with eBay standard envelope. I always try to look for trends. Then Naomi Dela Cruz, I think I got that right. What level of eBay store do you have? I remember this one. I think with Anchor, etc., you get a lower insertion fee. Yes, you do. It's lower. I tried doing the math for the insertion fees for 45,000 listings, and it's staggering. Yes. That's normal, and I'll talk about this in a second. Would love to hear how you handle the insertion fees versus selling 14 cards a day. If you hit your goal, I love your videos. Thanks, Naomi. So I replied to Naomi, and I had to go out and look at the store just to make sure I was replying correctly. Before, during the pandemic, the lockdown, I had an Anchor store because I reached a certain level, and I had to pay $300 a month, and you could have 10,000 listings for an Anchor store. So every month I paid $300. Then all of a sudden eBay came out and said, hey, you can take a premium store, which is $60 a month, not $300, and we're going to give you 10,000 listings plus 50,000 in specific categories, and postcards are in there. So I can have now 60,000 listings for $60 and not pay $300. So we all jumped on that. And my contract was coming right to an end, and it worked, but they retroacted everything to that, and I called them to verify. So I don't pay $300 for an Anchor store. I pay $60 a month, $59.95, but $60 a month for the premium store, and I can have up to 60,000 listings. So what you're looking at is not correct. The regular Anchor store, yes, but you got to add those 50,000 extra zero insertion fees that they gave the collectibles category for certain items. And she was taking what I said about 14 cards a day. How would I pay that? There's no money. That's correct. If I still had an Anchor store, I'd have to do more than what I'm selling. I would be doing, my model would change a little bit and stuff like that. But for what I do, being retired, like I said, not needing a lot, I just want some extra cash to do things, 14 cards a day is fine for me. And that pays all my bills. So how I do that, how I figure that I'm okay a lot, every month I have a spreadsheet, and every month I put the expenses for the month. I know I got to pay WorthPoint. I know I got to pay eBay Store. I know I got to pay my bank charges for my 3 accounts. I know I have cell phone bill. I know I got this. I have certain expenses that reoccur every month. So at the beginning of every month, I go in and I just cut and paste those down, and I put them for the month, and I put the price. So let's say I have $90. These are just arbitrary numbers for demonstration. It's more than $90. But I have $90, or let's say $100 for the month. Every month I start out, I have $100 of recurring expenses that I got to make money to pay, to be in profit. And I call that as what is your profit day? What profit day of the month? So $100, my first $100 goes to paying expenses. I know that. Now, if I sell $5 postcards, how many postcards do I need to sell? Gross amount. We can get into the net and stuff, but I need to sell 20 postcards to pay my monthly expenses, my reoccurring expenses. Just 20. So let's say with taxes and everything, say I need to sell 30. And I want to sell 14 a day. Day 2 in a month, if I'm doing 14 a day, I'm pretty well in profit. So the second day of the month, my expenses for the month is done. So that's what you want to do. You want to look at your reoccurring expenses and break those down. And over the last year, I've gotten that down so low it's ridiculous. I got rid of subscriptions. I got rid of this and that and this and storage and just all this stuff. I got it down to my reoccurring expenses are nothing compared to what they used to be. So usually the first 1, 2, 3 days of the month, I'm free and clear of my reoccurring expenses. Yeah, I have other expenses that come out. I have to buy some envelopes, or I have to buy this, or I want a scanner, different things like that. But that's how I came up with the 14 cards a day, is my reoccurring expenses. I want to be able to pay that. But thanks, Naomi. If anybody has other questions how I do that, just let me know. Biff Buffalo came in and left a comment, and I never had anyone request first class or top loader after purchasing. That's where I did a segment in a video where do you change the way you ship from if someone tells you after whatever, if a buyer tells you how to ship it, do you, whatever that part of the video was. You encountered a real interesting one. I have to wonder if people like that are the same level of needy in their day-to-day lives. I would think so, Biff. Makes me question it too. But when people come in after they bought it, then they tell you they want first class and they didn't pay for first class, you ship it what they paid for. I don't go back and forth with them. And if they leave me feedback and say that, well, I told you to ship it first class, it was shipped with the shipping option chosen at time of purchase. That's all you got to say. If they leave negative feedback or anything like that, you can always go back to eBay and say, hey, I shipped it the way they said. They tried to tell me. I don't get upset with all those buyer notes and stuff like that. People are just, they probably might have had some bad experiences and stuff like that. But like Biff said, I think they're needy. And that's what I talk about baggage. That's why I don't do best offer on cards that are lower end. I don't do it at all anymore. I don't go back and forth with a lot of people because they come with baggage. And that's what some of this baggage is. And I just don't want the conversations anymore. I get them once in a while, but a lot of times I don't even respond and stuff like that. But people say, well, you got to respond to messages or it's going to mess with your account health and you won't sell cards. So be it. It's better than spending time and losing money on time going back and forth with somebody like this trying to tell me, like Biff said, are very needy and you got to hold their hand every time for a $4 or $5 postcard. There's no time in there for that. If I had to do that with everybody, these postcards would be $12 to $15. So I'm not worried about messages. I respond to most messages that I get, but I don't deal with all the lowball offers and stuff like that. Also, if eBay was going to do that, Etsy did the same thing. It's just another way to manage the sellers. That's what they do with feedback and everything like that. It's a critical part of self-managing the sellers. Everybody jumps through hoops about this negative feedback stuff and everything, and it doesn't affect your metrics to be top rated seller. As long as my thing says above standard or top rated, those are the metrics that eBay says your account health is fine. Everybody else, a lot of people are making up these other things that they heard something about messages, or if you don't list every day your account health, if you don't do this. That's not true. The metrics they show you to be top rated above standard is all I look at. You can go out there and they can guess all this other stuff. I'm not a, algorithm and account health guru, but I know when I bring up Seller Hub and it says top rated, I'm fine. It says above standard, I'm fine. I'm meeting their metrics. That's what they're grading you on. All this other stuff people come up with, I can't say yes or no to because I don't know and they don't know. So don't worry about all the little things. Just put up good cards, good price, ship in 1 or 2 days, good scans, and make sure the title's optimized for search. Not too long, just as long as it needs to be. You'll sell postcards. So just gotta have a good price to sell and cards that people want. But that's everything. So keep on trucking with postcards and check those trucks out. And if you find any good trucks or you sold one, even real photo ones, send them in for show and tell. I'm really kind of psyched about this truck thing that I never knew trucks were this lucrative, because I just figured they're like automobiles. But it's something else for me to look at. That's what makes the hunt fun. But here's some fish for you, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.